Okanagan, Sinext, and Ktunaxa Nation. And we are grateful to be here, and thank you very much for joining us. My name is Eric Thompson. I'm an information officer with the Columbia Shuswap Regional District Emergency Operations Center. We often refer to it as the EOC. Tracy Hughes is here as well. She is also an information officer, and she is the section lead for information coming from the CSRD Emergency Operations Center. Derek Sutherland is the EOC director. He's also the Protective Services team leader with the CSRD. We're going to get started with an update on the Bush Creek East wildfire. It's also being referred to as the Adams Lake Complex. And with more on that, Forrest Tower. Forrest is an information officer with BC Wildfire Service, and he has been on this fire now for a couple of weeks, and I believe he may be transitioning out. So I wanted to take this opportunity, Forrest, to just say thank you so much for all the work you've been doing and the people behind the scenes working with you, and of course on the front lines. We do appreciate you taking time for these updates. If you could give us a quick on-camera update for media watching, and then we'll ask you to share your screen to show the map of the current situation.
Thanks. I hope the service is okay. I'm, as mentioned, in the midst of an incident management team transition, so I'm not at my usual spot and are on a different Wi-Fi connection. So we'll try to share screen after my verbal update and go from there. So we are still responding to Bush Creek East in a number of places today. We have over 139 wildland firefighters, 112 structural protection firefighters. They're complemented by roughly 50 pieces of structural protection equipment still, and then 70-ish pieces of heavy equipment. Those numbers are going to be fairly dynamic over the next day or two. We're expecting, I mentioned on one of the previous calls, about 100 to 150 more resources in the complex onto this fire. They were getting 100 Mexican firefighters. They were delayed by a day, so they will be arriving tomorrow. So 100 Mexican firefighters, and then there will likely be some component of BC Wildland firefighters as well. We will be, we're at the point now in some of our crews where they'll be cycling off the fire, and as they cycle off, new crews are brought in. So expecting just a bit of resource number shuffling, but we are getting more in terms of, like I said, those Mexican firefighting component coming into the complex. And as mentioned, we are still a complex, even though this update is focused on the Bush Creek East. So we have 17 helicopters that those resources are still shared between the Rossmore Lake wildfire and the Bush Creek East wildfire, and are kind of just assigned based on operational tactics and what ground crews are looking for. Primarily, again, used for bucketing operations, as well as right now there's a large amount of turnover between our teams happening. So a really big component of that being flights with the operations team. So you may see increased helicopter activity just flying around everywhere. That's our operations team handing over from our team to the next team. So all of the section chiefs and division supervisors all the way down in those supervisory roles, they need to pass on all that information to the next team. And our team will transition out of here tomorrow, and it will be a new incident management team. So some new names on the information being presented. Mike McCauley will be presenting on these calls most likely going forward, taking over for me. As mentioned, Mike will do a fantastic job and has a lot of experience in complex incidents like this. So happy to have someone taking over from me that is a very good information officer. So I guess just other high level things, we're continuing to see somewhat diminished fire behavior today, but it's getting to the point in terms of weather where we're seeing some warmer temperatures on the horizon, some increase in wind. So expecting there to be some increase in fire behavior as we move forward. We've had a number of instances this summer, given drought conditions, where rain will have much less of an impact than we might normally expect it to. So we will have a short-term diminishment in fire behavior as we have seen in the last few days. But with how dry things are, as temperatures heat up and the wind increases, likely to see an increase in that fire behavior. Again, just it's very dry and the fire burned very deep into the ground in some areas, so that activity can pick up given any wind or temperature increases. We do have heavy equipment operators working in the Magna Bay area, in Celesta Magna Bay, working on some heavy equipment lines that have been worked on over the past number of days. So they're in there trying to finish those up. And then we've had helicopter operations working kind of in the entire area, aerial operations happening in all the areas on the fire that need it in terms of bucket support. So water delivery to areas that would have increased activity. Our crews remain focused today in Turtle Valley, Locum Creek area, so the Locum Valley, and then Little Shuswap is where our ground crews are focused today, working on a lot of same objectives of just limiting that fire spread where it is and has the potential to move on. So I guess actually that's a good prompt. I will share my screen for where those places I'm talking about are. I'm going to use same thing as I did yesterday, a little bit less exciting in terms of helicopter activity right now. But we're still doing stuff there. Okay, so you guys should be able to see my dispatch screen. So I'll just quickly reiterate where we're focusing on. We've had helicopter kind of overflights of the fire as well as Rossmore Lake. So I'm sure people have seen helis flying around all the way from the north end to the south, to the east, to the west, all over. Very important we utilize those helicopters today and tomorrow to do those operations. So likely some movement there. And again, helicopter bucketing operations into the afternoon if we see an uptick in fire behavior. So the places that I mentioned, crews working, I have less layers on just so it's a little bit less confusing. Crews working down in this area where my cursor north of Little Shuswap Lake. They're connecting some guard from a road that is kind of servicing properties in Little Shuswap Lake area on the northern side of it up to the Locum Creek Road. To kind of limit any further spread west and as well down south to these property line areas. That's kind of our one area of focus as well, where my cursor is over here in the Turtle Valley area. We have guard completed, and I'm just gonna pan down so I don't have to look oddly down. So we have guard completed. If you basically, this is Highway 1 kind of running somewhere here. I don't have it turned on, but from the Little Shuswap Lake, down around this western side, there is a guard complete in Turtle Valley, and crews are working on kind of the start of connecting it up and around with the eventual goal of getting it basically wrapped from the Sorrento side up to the Turtle Valley side, and trying to limit any further spread in any direction, obviously down into Turtle Valley or down this other valley here towards Salmon Arm or east towards Sorrento. So those are our main operational activities today. I'm going to stop sharing and obviously you can stay on the line if we have any questions.
Boris, thank you very much. Do appreciate your update. And Sorrento, we've heard from folks in Sorrento. They were just wondering what the latest is in that area. Do you have any information you can share with us specific to Sorrento?
Yeah, we will. It's one of those areas that access was kind of impacted by some circumstances last night. So again, looking to, as now that seems to be resolving, we will be back finishing that line that I had talked about. We did a couple days ago have some increased fire behavior. Sorrento Fire Department assisted us and we had IA crews, but since then we've been just really working on focusing in some guard construction as I was describing, essentially just on the perimeter that exists. So if you look at the public dashboard, that wildland fire perimeter into the Sorrento area, just connecting the guard that is constructed in the Turtle Valley side all the way around. Yesterday, we were thinking there'd be about 2 days left of completion before that guard was completed. So it's good work that's being done there. And as soon as we are able to sort of resume completely normal operations there, that's the kind of timeline is about 2 days, but not seeing any, from what I have been told at least, not seeing any significant or concerning fire behavior. And we are, regardless of where ground crews are, we do have our full helicopter operations going. So those bucketing helicopters are available and working the entire fire. And as well, just there's a ton of reconnaissance flights happening. You might hear people calling them recce flights. That's happening all over the fire. So lots of eyes on the fire right now as we're passing all that information over to the next team. Heli flights are happening with those people watching those areas. So lots of overhead view happening on the fire right now. So that's what I have for the Sorrento area.
Okay, thank you, Forrest. So just remind people who are watching now that we have Tracy Hughes with us. She is with the CSRD Emergency Operations Center, and also she's information section like myself. And then Derek Sutherland is the EOC director, and he'll both will be providing an update in just a moment. But we'd like to get to our Q&A session with the media. So any media members watching, if you'd like to hit the hands up button, we will bring you in for a question, whether you have a question for the panel here or for Forrest Tower. And Forrest, if I'm not mistaken, you are transitioning out tomorrow around noonish. So this will be the last briefing we have from you. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. It'll be Mike McCauley almost certain tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to global news. Soren Jensen. Soren, go ahead, please.
Thank you. This is a question for Forrest. I'm going to ask about the possibility of collaboration between BC wildfire crews and groups of citizens who are behind the fire lines. A lot of professional forestry people, loggers who are there, who are working to fight the fires and are eager to collaborate. What if anything, the status of that any organization or any talks to work together?
That's ongoing as of meetings that are happening this morning and happening throughout the day. So as our kind of recent updates, we're still working towards that. Just, everyone's working towards the same goal there, trying to put out the fire. Lots of skilled individuals there, just need a little bit of organization. And that's what we're still working towards right now. So that's actively ongoing with BC Wildfire.
Excellent. For a follow-up, I guess I have a question, I think probably for Tracy or maybe for Derek. Supplies getting through the police checkpoints, are the supplies being delivered by barge or by truck to anyone other than BC wildfire crews in St. Ives, Anglemont, places like that?
I can help with that. Yeah, we've been working this morning in conjunction with the RCMP to get supplies over to that area. We have hired a barge, and we are barging supplies into the North Shuswap. And of course, we have the forestry road through the North Fork that is available to us to get those supplies into. Obviously we prefer to go in on the road. It's just not safe to do that right now. So we are having to get creative and find other solutions.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll go to our next call in just a moment. We did have a comment I'm actually monitoring now on YouTube. There's about a 45-second delay, and someone had asked about Scotch Creek. And Forrest, I'll leave that with you. We'll come back to that one. But if there's any new information you have on that particular region, let's go to BF Connect, which I believe is Barbara. Go ahead, please.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. I'm Barbara Parklow with the South Shuswap Scoop. And I'd like to know if the section of highway between Sorrento and Chase that is currently closed would be made available for evacuation only purposes should any further evacuation notices be issued.
Do you have any information on that, Derek?
Yeah, I can help. The RCMP have informed us that they will prioritize escorting any vehicles through closed roadways for evacuation purposes. Nobody wants anybody to stay in an area that's unsafe.
All right, do you have a follow-up?
Yes. Any special considerations for Tappan area currently under evacuation notice for the local former dump where the current transfer station is in Skamikan?
That's something you can speak to, Derek.
Yeah. We are actively discussing with wildfire whether or not we can, or we're constantly assessing whether or not we can reduce those orders down to alerts. And we're just not quite there yet, but we're looking at it every single day. Our goal is to get people back into their homes as soon as possible, as soon as it's safe to do so.
All right.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to Randy Adams in just a moment. I just want to mention I did have a chance to speak with the RCMP earlier because there was a call that came in where someone was asking about an area that isn't currently on evacuation order and what plans are in place if there is some sort of a tactical evacuation or if it goes to an evacuation order. Certainly RCMP will be available to help escort people out, provide evacuation routes and that type of thing. So the key right now for anyone who is in this region or any region that could be impacted by a wildfire is situational awareness, to follow the local sources, bcwildfire.ca, and of course, local government, csrd.bc.ca in this case. And I have spoken to some evacuees today and people are wondering about getting information. And while the media has been really helpful in providing information, it is important to go to the source directly. So the local websites that we just mentioned, well, the CSRD, but of course, BC Wildfire, any new information, once it's confirmed, will be up there almost immediately. So that's an important option. Of course, if you don't have access to the internet, you can call the Emergency Operations Center at 250-833-3350. Let's go to Randy.
And Eric, sorry, I just wanted to butt in a little bit, but we also have the alertable mass notification system. So as far as any alerts or orders going out, those will be going out on that system. You do have to register for that system and you can do that through our website. It's proven to be a very popular service. It's going to come directly to you. Some people think that that service is only if you have a cell phone, but there are other options like text, email, and also a voice call, which would go direct to your landline and alert you that there is something happening with an order or alert.
Yes, thank you for the reminder. That's really important. If you haven't signed up for that, you should do so, and you can do that on the CSRD website. Let's go to Randy Adams. Go ahead, Randy.
Hello, this is Randy from CBC Kelowna. The question I wanted to ask, and I'm sure it'll come in this update that you will be providing, either Tracy or Derek. In terms of structural loss, I know that it was mentioned yesterday that these numbers could potentially be coming out either yesterday afternoon or later in the day or today. Do we know how many numbers at this point yet in the communities at this point? What's been lost?
I just want to clarify, I don't think there was any time set on that, and certainly it's underway, but Derek, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, so right before I came into this briefing, I had a conversation with our representative from Canada Task Force 1 who are doing our rapid damage assessment, and they weren't quite finished yet. So once those numbers are compiled, we do expect them to be finished by the end of the day. Then we'll be compiling those numbers and planning for a release and notification to the affected individuals.
All right, Randy, follow up.
Yeah, I wanted to, I'm gonna be this guy at this point. And this is for Forrest. In terms of the post that was posted last night, how come it was deleted and not revised? Because it caused a lot of issues online in terms of people thinking it was fake. So I'm just wondering, how come it was deleted and not revised?
Yeah, so we made that post based on information received from RCMP and other partners. Kind of simultaneously as we posted it, we received information from RCMP that the situation we were describing was not as serious in the moment. And so deleting it the choice was made in an effort to not give something steam that didn't and doesn't deserve to have it. And so we know the power of social media in terms of making something bigger than it might be. So just based on advice from the RCMP and just having more information provided to us, that was the decision made to remove that post.
All right, thank you very much, Randy, and thank you, Forrest. And it's important to note too that throughout all of this, this particular wildfire, there have been a lot of reports on social media, comments on social media. And one thing that at the EOC we've been talking a lot about is some of those items, while they're important and while they can be a bit of a distraction as well, the community has really come together. And that's something that I've seen. I don't live in this community. I've come here to help out like many other people, including the RCMP and some volunteers. And we've seen the community come together, not just in the EOC, but throughout this entire area. And that's really what has stood out for me, including on social media. I want to mention quickly before we go to Victor that we are, I'm trying to monitor these comments on YouTube as they do come in, and there's a couple specific comments for us about fire in certain areas. I think when we wrap up, maybe you can just give us one final thought on how current this information is that people will see on the wildfire map, because that's really where they should go to get the details. Maybe you can even mention that now. It's really, as soon as you confirm the details, it's on the map, right, as far as the size and scope of this fire.
Yes, yeah, I can give a very quick rundown on how that works. So every change to our perimeter is from a human getting data, and that can be someone in a truck with a GPS on, someone in a helicopter with a GPS on, or someone interpreting a high-level thermal scan or satellite imagery. So at every step, no matter what, there's no automatic process of it. Someone has to either do it themselves or verify it. Once that's done and it's verified data, it goes on to our GIS team. So the mapping people that process that information, they will make a map. That data then goes to our dispatch program. That's an internal program we use to monitor safety of everyone. As soon as it's updated there, it gets pushed out to our public map within 5 minutes. It's a real-time push out of data. And then basically people just have to refresh the page. So there's no delay in terms of us having data before it goes out. It's just sometimes it takes time because a human has to do it at every step of the level.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Forrest, for clarifying that. Let's go to more questions. Victor, go ahead, please.
Hi there. Just hoping you can hear me. Thanks for doing this as always the last few days. Was just, not to dwell too much on the circumstances, I guess, as Forrest mentioned yesterday. We heard from the Wildfire Service, heard from RCMP, but I'm not sure if the CSRD has anything to kind of add to what might have happened, because from what we could see, a number of people involved may not have necessarily been North Shuswap residents, because I know some from Kamloops were just there to do whatever it is they were hoping. So I don't know if the CSRD has any kind of statement to what happened last night.
Yeah, not necessarily a formal statement, but I can tell you that I've been talking with North Shuswap residents that maybe don't agree with everything we've done in this emergency, but have stated adamantly that they are not supportive of this freedom convoy that was coming to the area, and were not a part of it. And they very adamantly wanted to express that to the EOC. So at no point did I ever think that this was our residence. I think there's a element out there that grabs onto these certain things, and I think that's what this was.
Okay, Victor, did you have a quick follow-up?
I did, yes. I'm just curious. I know people in places like Angelmont and St. Ives, they're not on order, but they've been essentially cut off without power for going on a week right now. I don't know if you have any kind of information as to how many people might have left, how many people are still in those communities that have not been told to leave, but some may have, some may have not. So I'm just looking for some clarity in that part of the North Shuswap.
Yeah. So we don't have numbers per se. We have offered supports to those people that are in that effective area. If they want to evacuate, we will give them regular ESS supports as we would somebody in an evacuated area. And we applied to the province for special permission to do that. And they were very quick to grant that. So I appreciate the support we were getting from the province in supporting these residents. And those residents that have chosen to stay, they remain. The option to leave still remains with them. Anytime they want to come out, they're more than welcome to, and we will support them. We have been trying to support them sheltering in place as well and staying at home. And we have been bringing out supplies and getting some bins and freezer trucks out there for spoiled food in their fridges and freezers, because we know that's an issue.
Derek, I'd like to mention as well, I did talk to a couple of evacuees today from Angelmont, and they told me that there is a firefighter in the area who's still there, and the homeowners offered for that firefighter to go in and take out the food that was remaining in their fridge that was still good to donate it to people who are in that area. And that couple said that they were really supportive of what was going on, and they were appreciative that ESS support was made available. And they highlighted for me the challenge that a lot of people are facing. These folks don't know when they can get back home, but they appreciate the urgency of the fact that the road in is under an evacuation order for safety. Let's go back to our media calls. Marcella Bernardo. Go ahead, please.
I'm gonna try to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you very well. Double check your audio there.
Can you hear me at all?
Hear me at all? Hear me at all? Hear me at all? Hear me at all? Hear me at all? Hear me at all? But we can't hear. I'm going to ask you to hold on just one sec. We're going to have to figure that out, but I'm going to go to another question, then we'll try to come back here. We're not really sure what that issue is. Not internal here, I don't believe, but we do have another hand. It's a phone number without a name. So we're going to go to phone number without a name. If you can go ahead, please. It's a looks like a 587 number, and I'm assuming it's a member of the media. We're kind of flying blind here, but go ahead, please, if you're following along. No go there. That's why it's good to put your name in if you can. I know it's a phone number dial in, but if you are hearing me, last two digits, 711.
Yep. Hi, can you guys hear
Perfect. Yep. Who are you?
Great. Hi, I'm Carrie Tate with the Globe and Mail,
Awesome.
the member of the media phone number. I'm wondering, sorry, if you guys can clarify a little bit, again, back to the social media post. Did BC Wildfire Service pull fire crews out of the North Shuswap area last night? And was it because or related to those the protests?
Well, I believe Forrest has already addressed that. Forrest, is there anything else you want to say on that, or are we going to move on? What would you like to do?
Yes, and I would just like to clarify that, yes, crews were reassigned temporarily. They're still working on the fire, and it was not only related to that. There were a number of considerations made and continue to be, folded into our decisions going forward.
Okay, follow up.
Well, yeah, was it partially related to that? Did it put firefighters in danger at all?
I would just say that any environment which seems to have had some remarks made and the situation that was happening, that was part of the consideration, not the entire consideration. But, as I've said, we continue to work off operation information that's provided to us when we're making our decisions of where we put our people. And safety is going to be number one thing we're working on with our wildfire staff, as well as everyone else in the area. So again, it's not a decision that is, something that's forever going forward. We often make operational decisions based on changing fire conditions, et cetera. So related to, but again, not the cause.
Okay, thank you so much. And we're going to try Marcella one more time, see if that's going to work, and otherwise we'll have to move on. We're going to try Marcella. Hope I'm saying your name right.
All right, let's
All right.
try this.
All right. All right. All right. I think if there's any kind of sound on in the background, or if you're hearing this, that could be part of the problem.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, that's what I've done.
That's pretty intense. You know what you can do if you'd like? It's a 45-second delay, but you can put a comment in the YouTube chat and we'll try and get it on. I see Barbara's got one more question. Barbara, did you want to ask Forrest or the panel another question?
Yes, thank you very much. It's Barbara Farrell from the South Shuswap Scoop. With regards to referring to the situational awareness that you're commenting on previously, many of the businesses that are near the fire area, some of them are open and offering services still, and it's quite variable for many of them. Do you have information through emergency support services that they can register whether their services are available or not? Can residents find that information there? And sort of second to that, is there business support through emergency support services? That's two questions in one.
That's something you can help with there?
Sure can. So yeah, the businesses can reach out to our ESS line if they're not currently registered as a supplier with ESS and get registered. And that number is 250-833-3360. That's 3360. They certainly can. They may already be suppliers. And I'm sorry, what was your second question, Barb?
It's essentially whether the businesses can also get support for themselves through emergency support services.
Yeah, not directly through us, Barb, but certainly there are agencies that support businesses in these emergencies, and we can get them in touch with them if they want to if they want to contact us.
And also,
that's great. Thank you.
any homeowner or property owner who lives in the area who is under an evacuation order, who has to leave the area, of course, can sign up with emergency support services. And if your property is on evacuation alert, you can sign up in advance just in case the alert changes to an order, and that is ess.gov.bc.ca. That's ess.gov.bc.ca. The phone number for ESS, if you have questions specific to how you can get support, 250-833-3360. That's 833-3360. Randy Adams has a follow-up question. Randy, go ahead, please.
Hi, this is actually Justin McElroy from CBC, asking a question on behalf of Marcella, saying she was hoping to ask Derek if he feels, and I know you expressed sentiment similar to this, that last night's protest backfired with local residents because they didn't want to be associated with the protesters who came in. Would that be a fair characterization?
Yeah, I certainly can't speak for the community. I can speak to the community members that I spoke to, and they were adamant. Those ones that reached out or that I was speaking to on another matter made a point of saying that they weren't associated with it and they wanted nothing to do with it.
Do you have a follow-up?
No, that's all she typed to me. So
okay, thank you very much. We're going to wrap it up here in just a moment. I want to give both of our panelists here a chance just to add any closing messages. And Forrest, again, you're heading out, I know, transitioning out, a well-deserved break for you. Thanks again for all you've been doing. I'm going to ask for a short answer on this one, but I was listening to CBC Radio and I heard an interview that for me was troubling, if I can say on a personal note, because of the comments that were made regarding what BC wildfire and firefighting crews may or may not do during the attempt to put fires out, to challenge or to protect property and life safety. And we've seen and heard so much about what they are doing. Would you like to reiterate how hard these people are working in the field? There's no such thing as firefighters running or ignoring fire. And the suggestion to me is I don't know, it's unconscionable. So the work that's being done in the field is basically risking life and safety to protect other people's lives. Can you talk about some of the hard work that's being done out there?
Sure. I think that having the impact for the people that are on the fire line right now, of a large majority of them are still the same individuals who evacuated from our fire camp. And we know we went back to Kamloops, slept there in a field and woke up and went back into that same area to fight fire again. That I think in and of itself is a testament to that spirit of endurance that firefighters, and not just wildland firefighters, but that's heavy equipment operators, that's the structural firefighters. Everyone is doing their best, and there's no sentiment among wildland firefighters of anything but just putting a fire out. We put trees that are on fire out, and we try to stop other trees that are going to light on fire. We try to not make that happen. So that's what we're focused on. We maintain our focus on that. That's been a very long season for wildland firefighters. We've been at this since May. We've had 2 fatalities, more fatalities than that, but 2 fatalities as a direct result of tree strikes. So when I talk about safety and the importance of community members knowing about that, knowing the danger of where they are working, that's what I'm speaking to. It's speaking to just a sense of safety for everyone. And, my final message, this is my last time on this call until I'm back at it somewhere in September. But I think everyone is, I know everyone is working towards the same goal in this, and we are trying to put out the Bush Creek East wildfire, full stop. So I would just encourage, in my absence, while everyone is still working away and there's other people on this call, just let's focus on that. We're trying to put a wildfire out. Let's work together, put all the other differences aside. We're engaging with community, and let's just keep on doing that going forward. And also, I would just like to express my thanks for having me on these calls, and from wildfire to the EOC. I know I've been involved in many EOCs as we're sort of parachute in, parachute out kind of people. And so I would just like to express my and our organization's thanks to the CSRD EOC. It is a lot that you are currently and will be going through. And so just our thanks to you guys.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Tracy had a quick follow-up.
I just wanted to follow up with this sense that as hard as the BC wildfire staff are working and the boots on the ground firefighters are working, there's a lot of hardworking people also in various support roles, supporting those firefighters, supporting the efforts, supporting the evacuees, and we want to send our thanks to all of those people out there. We also want to thank those people who have evacuated. This is really important in that they deserve our thanks. We know how difficult it is for them to be out of their homes, in limbo, wondering what the next steps are, waiting for information, and we deeply sympathize with that. We really want to thank you for making that commitment, for helping to keep your area safe, helping to keep yourself safe, so that these firefighters, these people on the ground, don't have to worry about your safety and can continue to do your job. There also has been, discussions about trust and faith and a lack of trust. We here at the CSRD, unlike Forest and BC Wildfire, who come in and come out, we live here, we work here, we're committed to doing that, to following this process through. It's going to be a very long recovery process. We know that we need to rebuild trust, and we know in all good relationships, that's going to have to come from both sides, and that's going to take time and work. But we have a commitment that we are going to continue to work with the community members to do just that, to work together towards this common goal. We are certainly seeing that groundswell of people coming together with wonderful actions and helping each other. And I think that we know that that's going to continue.
Thank you, Tracy. Forrest, we'll let you go there and safe travels. And I don't know what to say other than hopefully we don't see you anytime soon.
Yeah, well, I'll maybe just join you in more fortunate circumstances.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for all you're doing. And until I see you all again at some point this fall, I'm sure. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you in a civilian mode. That's Forrest Tower, Information Officer with BC Wildfire Service. And Derek, you probably want to echo the sentiments of Tracy that the community has come together. A lot of people have had to sacrifice and put in a lot of time and continue to and will for some time as the recovery continues.
Oh, goodness. There's countless stories of great things happening in the community.
Okay. We're pretty much out of time. Tracy, do you have any final messages, reminders about information and support that people can get?
So certainly if you're having questions, please reach out to our EOC, the number there, 250-833-3350. Please, we are doing our very best to communicate as quickly as possible, but we do need to take time to make sure our information is accurate. We don't want to be putting out misinformation ourselves. So continue to monitor, continue to watch the CSRD website, the Shuswap Emergency Program website, our social media platforms. And again, if you haven't signed up for Alertable yet, it'd be a really great idea for you to go to our website. There's a button right on the homepage. It'll take you there and help you get set up.
I'm going to leave you with 3 phone numbers, and they are for the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center. So if you're seeing information you want to clarify, you have a question, don't hesitate to call the Emergency Operations Center, 250-833-3350. For ESS, Emergency Support Services, you can call 250-833-3360. That's ESS support in Salmon Arm. And for donations, if you'd like to help out, there's a number you can call to get some of the details and coordinate those efforts, whether it's funds or items, 250-833-3396. As I mentioned earlier, I had a chance to go to the Emergency Support Services Reception Center in Salmon Arm yesterday, spoke to some of the volunteers there, a lot of people working daily hour after hour to help out. So we really appreciate those people and all the other community groups that are supporting along with the first responders and firefighters. So thank you very much for joining us. We're scheduled to have another update on Friday, October 25th. That'll be at 2 o'clock. And in the meantime, don't hesitate to check the sources that you heard from Tracy. Thanks for joining us. What did I say?
October.
Oh, I'm moving ahead now. We're going to go with August. All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us.